Since we enter the digital era, technology, the way of spreading information to share your work is already have a big change in terms of comparing with 15, 20 years ago.
Mm.
What do you think is the future of photography? And the second question is, what do you see you? Right now you are so busy leading tours, writing books, and your tour is always for 2 years in advance. But what do you think is the next stage for you? In photographic world, you already reached the highest. There's not many, I don't think there's any single wildlife or nature award you haven't won.
Mm.
In other words, you don't need to prove yourself anymore. And you are already considered one of the most influential photographers. And many people seeing you as an idol, they admire your work, they try to learn from your image or the message from your image. So what do you see you will be at after 5 years?
Oh, after 5 years. That's
Or even 10 years, we can stretch a little longer.
so, that's a very difficult question to answer, because things tend to just happen in your life and in your head, especially. And I'm guessing that in 10 years' time I will still be doing this, because I just like it very much. At this moment I cannot think of something that I like more than what I'm doing now. However, the artistic person inside me has lots of things that I like. So I also like art, for instance, very much. So if tomorrow I could become like just an artist, like making modern art, I would really like to do that. But I can't. It's at this moment I won't do it. But that would be something that I would still be very interested in, maybe later. If I ever stop doing this, then I might move into just straight art, so not photography. But for the time being, I really enjoy this, and there's still so many species to see and to photograph, so many places to visit, and life is very short. It's just way too short. So as we get older, start to want to rush a little bit, like, oh, I want this and I want that. So I don't know what will happen in the next 10 years, but there's a lot of things that I enjoy and a lot of things that I would still like to do. So I keep all the options open.
And also, as I mentioned, many young photographers are influenced by you, by your work, and many of them think you as an idol. What's your word or advice you can give to those emerging photographers, young photographers?
I think the most important part, if young photographers want to become a photographer and they want their work to be known, I would advise them to really follow your own instincts, so your own heart, and do not try to emulate or copy other people's work, because we live now in a time where everything is about social media. So especially young people, every single moment of their time they're on their phone checking social media, and when you do that, you see hundreds or maybe even thousands of images every day, and you see also how popular the images are. And if you see that, it will influence you, because you'll see a certain image and it will have like 10,000 likes, and that will tell you that this particular style is popular. And then if you keep looking at social media like that, after a while your brain will think, I need to do a little bit, I need to do this because it will make me popular. And you see this happening already on social media, that a lot of photographers who are popular and have a very distinctive style, very soon you'll see a lot of other photographers that try to copy the same visual language, the same style. And I don't think that's good, because you will not be creating unique art. You'll be copying someone else. And if you want to stand out from all those millions of other photographers, I think you need to first think very long and hard about who you are and what you want to achieve with your photography, and try to come up with a way to photograph your subjects in a way that is true to yourself and different from what is already out there. Super hard, really super difficult, but it all starts with that. If you don't start like that, you'll just be going with the flow and nobody will ever notice you.
What do you think is your best work?
Okay, so that's an easy question for me. My best work is not necessarily my most popular work. I think that my best work, those are the images where you can clearly see the creative decisions that I have taken to achieve that result that you're seeing. So to explain that a little bit, so if you put 10 photographers in the same spot and they're all photographing the same scene, it's very likely that all those 10 photographers will have a similar image. But maybe there's one photographer who shot that scene very different from all the others. And that's what I consider to be true creativity. If you look at the world differently and your decisions have resulted in a level of creativity that is much higher than just registration. Very often what we do is we respond to what we see. So we see something happening in front of us and we respond to it. I call it reactive photography. We aim our lens at it, we photograph it. So that's reactive photography. What I like more is proactive photography. So you already think about something that you want, and you have a creative idea, and then you try to use that to create the effect that you want. So that can be a technical solution. It can be a special way of photographing, a special viewpoint or whatever. But do something that creates a different image. So those are the images that I like most. So for instance, the photograph with the snow monkey with the phone is probably my most popular image, but for me it's not my favorite image, because for me, if I look at that image, for me it's just lucky.
Yep.
I was there, it happened, I photographed it, like a copy machine. I click, have it. But there's other images, like for instance the snot-nosed monkeys, completely different. Because what you see there, the light that you see there, I have created that light. It wasn't like that. That started in here. It was my idea to make it look like that, and I used flash to create that. So both are primates, but that one I prefer much more because you can clearly see my creative influence in that image. So that's how I distinguish the two types of photography, and that's where my preference lies.
In essence, you're very much driven by two facts in your life and lead to who you are right now. And number one is creativity. The ability to envision, to visualize your own unique style, to do something unique. Try to do something somebody else may not want to do or haven't done.
Right.
Number two is, of course, as all well-established wildlife photographer or nature photographer, you have the passion for the conservation and the planet, or for the nature world. Well, thank you very much. That was a pleasant dialogue to have with you. This is Jeffrey Wu, and this is the end of our session of a conversation with a master. See you next time. Thank you. I have some friends who's photographer at master level, like Thomas Vijen from Canada, Benson Mate from Hungary, etc. It's just not easy. You can do a master photographer's interview in the field. So I prepared. We did not do the interview at the first day. I hang out with them for 3 days in camp doing height photography, just to get more in tone with him, you know. I want to do this interview in the state that he is completely relaxed. Interview a master photographer like him, I won't ask any technical questions. What kind of gear, what's f-stop, what the shutter speed. I'm more interested in the conceptual part. I really want to know what formed his thought process, the concept, the idea, the creativity. I try to dig out more from his background, his previous experience, and what kind of influence that he gained to form his way, his style of photography. Marsel is a straight arrow, down to earth, with great openness and kindness as well. And somehow, if you look at his blue eyes long enough, you will find some sort of innocence, some purity still there. And for myself, you can feel the true confidence of a master. And I have interviewed some photographers, they have very good images, but when you interview them, they try to hide something, you know, hold something back. It's like they are not confident enough. But myself has this absolute confidence of a master, which is the way it should be. Besides being a master level photographer, he's just a great guy. You like to hang out, you know, quick-witted, with a great sense of humor. We're drinking beers every night in the camp among the friends, insulting each other. But when he's working, he's super sharp, you know, very focused, like a razor. And he pays lots of attention to all the details. So he's one of a kind.